What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Now, I've been gone for a long time now, but I had to study and shit, just standard university stuff. But now I'm back and it's me, not some made up character, and today we are going to take a look at the top 10 best green cards going into the OP12 meta. Now, the new set released last week officially, and right now actually everyone and their grandmothers are looking forward to build their new green Zorro leader. And yeah, my thought process was that this is the right timing for such a video, and I wanted to do the top 10 on each individual color anyways. But that's enough for the yapping. I just wanted to make a more personal introduction for the 100 people that always click on my videos. You are being seen. Hey, thank you. Yeah, let's dive into that. So we are ranking stuff, and if we rank stuff, people should know what it is based on. So I decided to put up 3 criterias, and those would be: number 1, combo potential. How much a card can combo with other cards or the leaders they are played inside is a key factor. And then for the more straightforward criteria, it would be raw strength, and that includes anything that is concerning with cost to stat line value, and for a lack of better word, how much of a bomb drops on the board when the card is being played or activated. And last but not least, the game shaping ability. How much your opponent has to consider that specific card. How much does he go out of his way to play around it, and that would be considered game shaping ability. So with our criteria set and the topic of the video introduced, let's dive into it and start with the number 10 spot of our list. For the first entry of our list, and that means the 10th spot of this list as well, we have of course the 10 cost Doflamingo. It came out of OP04 and it is still in the back of minds of people because this character can freeze 3 things on the board, including the leader of your opponent. That being crazy enough for itself, you can swing with it afterwards because that stuff will stay rested with 10k into whatever you froze the turn beforehand. And even better, you can stun your opponent's leader, which means leaders who have when attacking effects will get stunned with their effect too. It is the best 10 drop in green. There is no better 10 drop. There are maybe better 9 drops, but any green deck that can afford to play this for 10 Don, freeze 3 things with it, and don't mind that he didn't play anything else that turn, should go out of their way to play this card. There's really nothing you can combo with this card because you will have no Don left to do something else with it. It doesn't shape the game in any way or form so that people play around it. Well, for one, it doesn't have that high of a play rate anyways, but the brutal strength of this card, and if you can, for example, chain these back to back, is just absolutely ridiculous. And for that reason, this is a good fit for the first entry of this list. Let's continue. For the second placement of today's list, we have got Electrical Luna out of EB01, mainly used by green-purple players, but this card is nothing to grasp on. If your opponent has 5 characters on board that are 7 cost or less, and you activate this card, you will be able to freeze 5 cards, which is nothing any other card can do in the game. We talked about Dofi freezing 3 characters, including a leader of course, which is kind of nuts in and out of itself. And while it's still hypothetically, this card is busted as fuck. Because if you catch your opponent off guard and play into activating this event, you can catch your opponent with a tempo swing that he won't be able to catch up to. Under the microscope, this is just a stalling tool, but enables you so many stuff because it only costs you 3 Don, which will mean you have so many Don left to do stuff with that it sometimes seems unfair that this card is able to be used by your opponent. On the 8th spot of our list, we have got the ST16 Shanks. This character costs 9 Don, has 11k power, so already a positive stat line, or vanilla stat line as you will. But more importantly, its effect is custom for the color identity of the color green. Because in green you have so many opportunities and possibilities to rest stuff, whether it is with your leader effect, with an event, or with a character you play beforehand, you will always have the possibility to rest something. Which then means if you play this Shanks, you can KO anything that is rested on the side of your opponent's board. And you will even be rewarded for that, because you will have an 11k body on the board for your next swing. Even better, this character costs only 9 Don, which makes it even more custom for the specific leader, and that would be Bonnie. Because if you play this on your 10 Don turn, you will still have 1 Don left to use your leader ability to rest something from your opponent, which then you can follow up with another Shanks that will KO that now rested character for you. This makes it really tedious and nerve-wracking to play against Bonnie, which regular local players will have experienced more than enough. It's pesky, it's frustrating, it has a raw strength of over 9,000. It doesn't really provide combo potential, but its raw strength makes up for that in any shape or form. It's also really game shaping if your opponent is on track and he's not some kind of newbie, because a good Bonnie player will force out your blockers with cheap swings so that they will be rested sideways, so your Shanks can efficiently KO something. So players have to play around that, so that's for the game shaping portion of it. Nonetheless, the 8th spot of this list is pretty fitting for this card and well deserved as well. It could arguably be higher, but I've settled for the 7th spot of this list for the OP010 Tashigi. Frankly, I will keep this short and simple. Tashigi is a 2k counter. It has a cost of 3 Don and 3000 power as well. It can protect anything on your board that is green at the cost of only resting her. The best part about this, she protects from any removal there is, whether it is KOing, bottom decking, or giving it back to the hand as bouncing. This card will protect your shit. And if not, it is a 2k counter in your hand. It is searchable in the Punk Hazard / Smoker package deck type, which makes it even better. With green there are endless possibilities to restand your Don, so that you will have eventually a state in the game where you will have 3 Don for free, in which you can play this and reap its benefits later on in the game. It also combos nice with other cards, such as Rosinante, because Rosinante can afterwards protect this card if you protected something with her. It's really likely that some of you want to see this card higher on the list, which I totally agree on, but for now this card on the 7th spot is more than worthy. Moving up at the list, we have kind of the most infamous green card there is, and it's sticking around since OP01 up until this day, and his name is Eustace Captain Kidd. Kidd is just an asshole of a character because it allows your opponent to just play autopilot stupid bullshit. Take all the life, hold up counter in your hand, flood the board with blockers, and suddenly you have an 8k leader. And best of all, you can't KO that Kidd character, you can't remove it, you can't do nothing, because your opponent will have Rosinante on the board. And that's where we get to the interesting part, because Kidd and Rosinante together represent you the 5th and 6th placement of this list. I don't want to say that one is better fit for the 5th or 6th spot than the other, because this is a combo package that works best together. It is infamous, everybody has gone through the denial of being on the receiving end of this combo and having nothing to do other than light up a smoke in front of the store and complain to your best friend why you did lose that match. This card basically screams combo potential. It is made for it. It is the Columbus for combos in One Piece. It has a raw strength that is through the roof. It is game shaping in a meta where Kidd is extraordinarily represented and one of the best win conditions in the entire game. So with all that glazing, why is it only so low on the list? Well, there's actually so many counterplay against this. From Gamma Knife to Mulgun, there are many possibilities, so this card is ticking all the boxes, but there's still stuff you can do to play around it. Coming up next, we have a new event out of OP012, and I will not read the name because this is a god-awful long of a name, but what you want to know at this point is just that this event is a Hody Jones clone. This is Hody Jones' on-playability fit into an event package. It costs 1 Don to activate, but you have to rest 3 additional Don. And it has also this new design philosophy integrated into itself as well, where it can be a 3k counter if you rest 1 Don. So this already is a multifaceted card that you can use in at least 2 different scenarios. So it makes it a tad bit better than Hody in that case, because Hody has no counter at all, but it still has the downside of being an event, whereas Hody Jones would be an 8k body on your board if you play play it for just 3 additional Don, whereas this card only can activate Hody's on-play ability, and keep in mind that Hody Jones still is a rush attacker. Nonetheless, as I mentioned, there are some scenarios where this card will be actually better than Hody. For example, when you have a Don to spare and you desperately need counter in your hand, or if you don't want to take that live and still want to be able to activate that Hody Jones on-play ability. It's just a bit more accessible, but still a good addition to the game, because it could represent a Hody alternative, which is a bit more balanced when Hody eventually gets banned one day. But that's only speculation. Fact is that this card has better situations where it can be played than Hody. For example, in the Blackbeard matchup where your on-play will be negated, so that Hody Jones's effect won't activate, whereas this event still can do some good merit for you in that matchup. Admittedly, the Hody Jones package is just fucking stupid. It has so many things going for it. A rush character, 2 resting. The life you take is really of no concern, to be honest. So having this as a potential replacement makes me happy in the card design Bandai approached lately. Coming right fresh off the OP12 release, we of course have the 8-cost Mihawk on the number 3 spot of our list. And as we were able to see with the broadcast of the championships in the East, where OP12 has been landed a bit earlier than here in the West, this card has such an undeniably big impact on the meta that it would be considered an instant staple for anything green that takes itself even remotely serious. I mean, think about it. This card is constructed for the new Zoro leader out of OP12, but it will be used in anything else that can afford it. Think about Smoker. This card and the Smoker leader with the 5-cost Smoker, now you can instantly restand 7 Don. And add to that you would normally have 2 Don left on your 10 Don turn. That would mean you have still 9 Don left to play with. This opens up so many combo potential that you just outgrind your opponent in Don efficiency. So for that reason, it's the number 3 spot of our list. None other than EB01 Cavendish will be fit for the 2nd place of this list. Some people even will argue that it has to be on the 1st spot of the list, and I would agree if the 1st spot wouldn't be that cracked. But why would they think that? Because Cavendish can restand you 2 Don if it is played. Even better, it not only restands you 2 Don when it's played, but when attacking also, which makes this card such a nice engine to make your cards and combos keep running and steaming, but only if you can keep it on board, because you need to protect this card, and what you will see green players often do is go out of their way to protect it actually. It is a really balanced card because it has a nice restriction that you only can control 1 Cavendish, or the effect wouldn't take place, and that would be nonsensical, so there will never be a situation where you play 2 of these. But it has a supernova typing, which means it can be searched out in certain builds and deck types. It has a 5/6 stat line and a 1k counter. Some might argue it is a tad bit overtuned, and I actually agree, but it's still okay, at least in comparison to the number 1 spot of our list. Nonetheless, this card has insane combo potential. You could, for example, play the Mihawk we mentioned earlier and then restand 4 of your Don. 2 would be left if we assume you were on your 10 Don turn. So that would leave you with 6 Don in total. After which you just play this Cavendish, which will restand you 2 Don additionally. And then you can play a 4-cost blocker on your board or whatever your mind is up to in that moment. And that would ultimately mean that you have played 17 Dons worth of cards for the cost of only 10 Don. This is almost equal to the insane 22 Don plays that Lucci was able to do. And that is enough. It also has a nice game shaping ability because your opponent will do anything that he possibly can to remove this. The raw strength isn't that high, but still a positive stat line, so there's no other card that will be fit for this spot other than Cavendish. And finishing off our list with the number 1 spot, and who would have guessed at this point? Of course it is Hody Jones. Arguably one of the most hated green cards there is, because in situations where you shouldn't be normally, you are now prone and vulnerable to be exposed with the effect of resting 2 cards. This is just broken, and it's really great into purple decks because there is a thing still that's called Gum Gum Giant, and this character also can rest those 2 or 3 dons that you would actually leave up as a purple player. That's the reason also why many purple players adapted to leave maybe 4 to 5 Don open just to counter out one Hody Jones. Often you'll see a black-purple Luffy player leave up 5 Don and just only play that 1 4-cost Frankie blocker because they are afraid of Hody Jones. So if you would need to rank a card based on the criteria we mentioned earlier, this card would tick all the boxes perfectly. Only talking about the combo potential, this card goes very well into many great green cards. You could, for example, play out this Hody Jones, rest the remaining 2 standing characters of your opponent, maybe he has a full board too, and then you would have still 3 Don left for your Electrical Luna, which will freeze the entire board of your opponent. And that just pairs up perfectly because these 2 cards have a total combined cost of 10 Don. And this is just one example for many use cases. Its raw strength is also self-explanatory because it can really basically win you games which you shouldn't be able to. So really only one criteria is left, and that is the game shaping ability. And of course that is given. Hody is just such a generic splashable card with the only requirement to take a life, which is not really a requirement at all because green players most often just take that last life because they know they will play Hody the next turn. No matter what they place on board, the Hody Jones will rest 2 of those no matter what. So you would always need to play 3 blockers, which is nothing a standard deck will be able to. Or in the case of purple, as we mentioned, leave 5 to 6 Dons up. Hody Jones is a card that shapes the way your opponent plays to such a significant amount that he has to always keep it in his head. And a card that has such a great impact will of course be the number 1 spot of this list. So that's it for the video. Guys, I am happy to be back and happy to have you back here. Feel free to write your takes on this list or your own list in the comment section down below. And tell me what kind of video you want to see next. I tried to do a poll on my channel, but that just didn't work. So yeah, until next time, have a great day.